So now that we've had a play around with what sounds we can make on our instrument, let's try and write that stuff down. How would we represent this in notation? So obviously a normal note, we just kind of write like that. I suppose you could write arco to tell them that it's a normal bowed note. And you can have pizzicato. If you remember, we had our other type of snap pizzicato, we call that Bartok pizzicato. So instead of doing what we just did, you actually draw a little circle with a line through it. That tells them to do a Bartok pizzicato. We can also have varying degrees of vibrato, and the one I did, we called it a kind of vibrato crescendo, and I'm going to write it like this. It's my E, and then start off small, getting bigger, 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 like I played for us. Make sure it corresponds well and makes sense to read it. What comes out should be reflected in what's written. We also had some tremolo. Tremolo, you write it with 3 dashes in there. And then we also mentioned sul ponticello. That's how you spell it. And then just like pizzicato is abbreviated to pizz, we abbreviate this to sul pont. And the player will know, it's a bit of a thing, the player will know to play close to the bridge. We also had our percussive effects where we hit the violin. And no pitch comes out of that. So I would use a note with a cross for its note head, like that, to tell us it's a percussive effect. And then you'd probably write some kind of, instruction on top to tell the player what to do. For example, hit the back of the violin. Pretty clear, wouldn't you say? So let's make sure, again, that what we write down reflects what comes out and that can be clearly understood. All right, now that we've opened up Sibelius, we're going to write the stuff that we notated on paper and put it into Sibelius. So what you want is to go to the keypad and you can see different rhythms you can put in. So for example, I've clicked on the minim and you chuck that in whichever note you want. I'm going to go for E and voila. And so let's do another one. And then we want to make it a pizz. So what you're going to do is you're going to do Control or Command T, and that lets you type in pizz. Let's do another one where we're going to do our Bartok pizzicato. So you look up there and you can see the search toolbar, and in Sibelius it's actually labeled snap. So we're going to type in snap. The one you want is snap 2. Click it and it's there. Now we've got our sul ponticello, so if you want to do that same thing as pizz, Control T, sul pont, there you go. Now if you want to select and deselect notes in Sibelius, you can, and now we're going to do tremolo by going to the 3rd tab of the keypad and selecting that, and here we go. If we want to deselect our notes, we can press the N key. So you can see it's blue, and then once I press N, it goes back to normal. We're going to talk about the extended technique of our vibrato crescendo that we explored earlier. So let's put in a note, let's put in a semi-breve, and then we're going to go to notations, click the drop down menu, and you're going to scroll down and click vibrato. When you've done something funny like I did, you can just Control Z or just delete it. Let's go in again, and let's also put in the wide vibrato. And then if you want, you can sort of drag it out or in to make it shorter or longer. However, this isn't quite as accurate as I want it to be. It doesn't look exactly like what I wrote down. So what we can do instead is we can Google search an image for something like we've written. I've got this screenshot, and I'm going to put it in by clicking notations, graphic, and here we are. And because it's so big, we're going to resize it. You can do what you like. You can make it, you know, small, big, narrow, wide, whatever you need. Now let's talk about our percussive effects. So we did a cross for the note head, so you're going to be ready to put in a note by pressing N, and then you go to notations, go to type, and then you click the drop down for cross, and that lets you put that in like that, just like we wrote. Now the search toolbar is going to be your best friend in using Sibelius. There are so many options out there and so many symbols and so many things that it'll save you a lot more time if you use the search toolbar. And have fun, go a bit ham, explore it. Good luck and have fun.